Hey there, rock stars. Sarah Rockin' Robbins here, author of the best-selling book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business. Shout out below if you have it and if it's helping you to rock your network marketing business. Also the creator of the CD series, The Rockstar Recruiting School, and the Masterclass Edition, all of which you can find on my blog at sarahrobbins.com. Well, happy Valentine's week. It's almost Valentine's Day. I love that holiday. Super fun. And happy month of love, everybody. That's going to be the topic that we're talking about today. Perhaps it piqued your interest. Be sure to tag your team in this broadcast. Share it on your page because we are going to be talking about an incredible topic that you won't want to miss. And by the way, you'll find more on our blog. I'm tongue-tied today, over at sarahrobbins.com. Hi, everybody. Sarah Robbins here. I am so glad that you are tuning in. Speaking of my blog, how many of you took our 200 Reach Out Challenge over on the blog tab at sarahrobbins.com? If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you've got to check it out. Go to sarahrobbins.com today, click on blog, and you are going to find our 200 Reach Out Challenge. That's right. Last time we were together, I said, hey, February is the shortest month. I don't care your company. I don't care your products, your pay plan. Let's get together and let's make it our biggest month yet. 200 reach outs, 10 a day. And if you're just tuning in, guess what? That's okay, because you could start today, and with half the month left, do 20 reach outs a day. I give you all of the language, all of the ideas on that challenge, and I'm even having you guys track it. You know, I shared, last week a little bit about my weight loss story, losing over 100 pounds in total, but losing the weight post-baby takes, time, the daily activity. And, this is no different. If you want to be successful in your business, you have to track activity. So the idea is really tracking the activity over 200 reach outs, but then of course, tracking the no's as well. Now, the reason why everybody's saying, I've tried this, I'm pushing myself, I absolutely love it. I'm loving seeing your comments, guys. The idea is tracking your no's as well. Why? Not your nose, but your no's. And I always say no doesn't mean no forever. It means no, not right now, or I don't know enough. My sister just joined me after 10 years in the business of watching my mom become a seven-figure earner and myself become a seven-figure earner as well. Okay, so, don't take no's personally, okay? But no's are really powerful because it helps you to really be, more scientific about your business and looking and saying, okay, this is how many people I'm gonna have to actually reach out to in order to get a yes. It really helps you to understand the level of activity and commitment that it takes, which I think is really healthy and really important. I always say, if I were to go in front of a room full of 200 of you and say, who wants to be a kindergarten teacher and start tomorrow? And by the way, I've done this example before, typically like 5 people, raise their hands. And even less than that would take action and actually start the job. So no is not, personal. It's not a personal, rejection. It's just really personal preference. This business is not for everybody. But I can tell you, if you're really committed to the 200 reach outs, if you're really committed to the daily activity, you will see results over time if you give the business the time that it takes. Same is true in weight loss. The same is true with anything else in life. It truly takes time. Now, if you have truly done those reach outs, and if you haven't, I want you to get started. If you have truly done those reach outs, you've done the 200 and everybody said no, which I would highly doubt. I mean, I give you guys the language and the level of activity that it takes. Then we would have to talk about posture. And that's a little bit about what I want to talk to you about today. And you'll see how we're going to weave in the theme of love. Last night, a gal named Tori Shaughnessy, one of our top leaders, was training on our company-wide call. We call it the Rockstar Recruiting School. And she was talking a little bit about posture and belief. And as I was creating the promo for the call, I said, have you ever found yourself in the place where you were talking to a lot of people, but you really wanted to improve your results? Well, a lot of times that becomes really a matter of posture and belief. If we feel like we're really doing the work and spinning our wheels, how do we change people's response? How do we change people's response to what we're, presenting to them? And so we talked a little bit about posture, and we talked a little bit about belief. You know, if a rock star on my team or an inspiring rock star on my team comes to me and they say, you know, Sarah, this just isn't working for me. I'm not getting, you know, the level of interest that I desire. Well, the first thing that I say is, are you doing the work? Are you doing the activity? And if so, show me your 200 reach outs. Show me your 200 no's. You know, I should see those 3 events on the calendar for the month. And if they've not taken that first step of doing the activity, then we've got to go back to square one, starting there. You know, I couldn't show up to my personal trainer and expect her to, you know, wave a magic wand and make 50 pounds fall off. I have to show up having done the activity and the work myself, right? There's a personal level of accountability in activity, and that's where success starts. So it first starts with activity. If you guys haven't done the activity, man, tune into this broadcast later. I'm just kidding. You can watch it now. But here's the thing. You've got to do the activity first. If you've done the activity, and then you can still say to me, Sarah, this isn't working. My business isn't working. I would say to you, well, then let's look at your posture. You know, sometimes it's not what you say. It's how you say it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You know, how do people perceive and receive the things that you're saying? So let's talk a little bit about that today. One of my mentors and one of my good friends, Donna Johnson, talked to me one time about how she coaches her leaders. You know, she does monthly goal setting with them. I do that with my leaders as well. And, you know, she not only asks them for goals and activity, you know, like, oh, you know, what were your dates for your events? How many people did you reach out to? There has to be a basis for the conversation. You don't have time to get into dramatic conversations with people, okay? You don't. You know, it's business. Get down to business. You know, what's the number of reach outs? How many events did you have? But then she asks these questions that I really love. Are there any leaks in your pipeline as it relates to skill set, belief, or desire? I'm going to say that again. Are there any leaks in your pipeline as it relates to skill set, belief, or desire? Now here's the interesting thing. Skill set, that's a conversation that we can have a conversation about. If you feel like, okay, now first and foremost, I'm going to ask you, did you do your 200 reach outs? Did you do your events? If the answer is no, you got to start there. Then we'll have a conversation. But if you've done that and you can seriously say, you know what, Sarah, I'm really struggling, I would say to you, okay, well, then let's work on skill set. You know, what are you saying to people? How are you exciting them and inviting them to hear more? What are you inviting them to? Coffee and conversation, a call with your sponsor or upline, the next upcoming meeting or event. And then how are you closing? So we could, you know, I can influence skill set. The second thing is belief. I believe a big part of this business success, it lies in between the ears. That's right, right here. You have to believe in you. You have to believe in your opportunity. And you have to believe in network marketing. So 3 things with belief. You have to believe in you. You have to believe in your company and product, and you have to believe in the profession as a whole. If you don't believe in you, how are you going to get other people to follow you? If you're struggling with belief in yourself, you need to take up some personal development and work on growing and becoming a better leader, etc. If you're struggling with belief in your company, or your products, you know, I mean, start, you know, looking at success stories, before and after pictures, testimonials, etc. You're going to have to be a product of the product. You're going to have to be a champion of the product. If you're struggling with belief in network marketing, get my book. See what's possible. You know, get other people's book. I saw the 45-second presentation. We got that book, my mom and I, when we started. Jim Rohn has some great network marketing materials as well. I mean, there's so many great things to build your belief in the industry. So belief is a big thing. The third thing is the one part that I cannot influence. And that's your desire. You know, I love what this leader on my team says, Barbie Bassett. She always says, your willing to has to be greater than your wanting to. I'm going to say that again. Your willing to has to be greater than your wanting to. How do you know an aspiring leader in your team and in your company? You watch their feet and not their mouths. It's not what they say they're going to do. It's what they're willing to do. We all want to be successful when we start. Otherwise, we wouldn't join. But are you willing to do the work? And that's where I would go back and say, are you willing to do those challenges? So again, I can, as a leader, I can influence skill set. You can influence your own skill set. You know, by getting trainings, plugging, I have like so many free YouTube videos, you guys. You can go to my YouTube and literally there's a gal who joined me in Australia. She said, I know every single one of your videos by heart. I have listened to them all. I have read all your blogs. Become a student of the profession. Learn it. I can influence your skill set. I can influence to a certain extent your belief, but you've got to do personal and professional development as well. But desire, your willing to has to be greater than your wanting to. I cannot make you fall in love with this business. I can't make you fall in love. I reposted this blog on sarahrobbins.com, and it was a really cool article from John David Mann. And he asked this question, and I really loved it, and I think it bears worth sharing. He said, are you in love? And I want to kind of read this to you guys, and I want you to ask yourself, you know, are you being the leader that you'd like to follow? You know, don't be complaining against your leader. You be the leader that you're looking for. What you do duplicates. You have to be in love first. I mean, that's so important. You guys have told the story of Moses and the Israelites in many different capacities. You know why many people didn't make it to the promised land? Because they were blaming their leader. They were blaming Moses. They were blaming God. Instead of persevering toward the promise that was there for them. And all they had to do as individuals was be obedient. But we always want someone to blame. We always want someone to blame, don't we? It's human nature. Okay. So I love this. Are you in love? Who's a good candidate for people joining you in the business? We all ask this. You know, I look at my business and I'm like, oh my gosh, who are the top income earners? Former teachers, stay-at-home moms, figure skaters, lawyers. I mean, literally, like so many different professions, different age groups, all the way from 20s up till 60s, 70s, men and women, different backgrounds. So he says, you know, sometimes we say, you know, someone who's a people person. I was not a people person. You know my story. If you follow me for any period of time, you know that I was a shy, young, broke kindergarten teacher. I had 19 cents in my bank account. I had no network. Yet we see people who are bona fide people, and they don't go far in the business. And people who have go far in who have gone in the business that are not people. We say, you know, look for somebody who has influence in their community. But the same caveat applies. The correlation often fails to hold. We say, you know, look for people who, you know, share a common bond. And by the way, if you post your network marketing company or opportunity, you're going to get deleted. So that's not the forum for this, guys. So please make sure that you're using this for training and not using it to solicit people, okay? We say, you know, people who have influence in their community, but the same caveat applies. The correlation often fails to hold. We say, you know, look for people who, you know, have a common bond. Well, I've got friends who weren't interested in joining my business. I mean, my own sister didn't join my business until 10 years later. So when you go prospecting, he says, who are you really looking for? I think you're looking for someone who falls in love. How do you know it? There are 3 things to look for. Number 1, they see it. Goes on to say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so is the opportunity. You can take you can't make someone see the value that the business model has to offer. You can't. You can show it, you can explain it, but it only goes so far. That's why we don't take the no's personal. They see it or they don't. I always say it's our job to share. It is their job to decide. It's not my job to convince. It's my job to share. It's their job to decide. There's an expression in network marketing, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person. The same is true in friendship, in courtship, and in business. I wouldn't want to convince somebody to date me. I'm married, by the way, but I'm just saying, if I was dating, I wouldn't want to convince somebody to date me. I'd want them to want to date me. Number 2, they want it. We say anybody can succeed in this business. We say that, guys, and that is not accurate. Who can succeed? Anybody who wants to, and a lot of people don't. Anybody who's willing to, because you're willing to has to be greater than you're wanting to. The business is not for everyone. For one thing, it's work. It's called network marketing, not net lazy marketing. So that eliminates a lot of people right there. It requires resilience in the face of disappointment, a willingness and a capacity to work in partnership with other people, faith in human nature in the business model. Most of the time, it requires a compelling interest in succeeding at a business that borders on passion. This often has nothing to do with candidates' financial status. It's not something you can predict or predefine. It's an individual matter. And guys, I'm just going to tell you, it is so true. I see this on my team time and time again. It's always the people who come in and they say, oh my gosh, I'm going to make you a millionaire, and they do nothing. And then it's the silent ones, the quiet ones, who come in with that quiet determination and they blow it out of the water. I mean, it's just so powerful. I wish you could predict it. We would all be zillionaires if ever there was a term. But then, so are you guys seeing this though? I mean, are you guys seeing this, that you can't control other people's behavior, you can just control your own activity? I mean, that should be one thing that this tells you. But then next, the third thing that he says is they do it. I mean, this part, you guys, should be obvious. But evidence suggests it's not, because we see leaders and aspiring leaders who persistently chase after and they attempt to work with or struggle to figure out how to offer the right support to people over and over again, spinning their wheels on people who aren't doing it. That's why I do that activity challenge, and I'll say, show me your activity first before we even have a conversation. How do I spend an hour of time coaching people who aren't doing the work? You know, there are people who see it, they want it, but they just won't do it. I love when people say, what is your secret to losing weight? And I'm honest in saying there is no magic pill or potion. If there were, Oprah would have taken it, guys. It was hard work, consistency every single day. We know how to lose weight. We know how to be healthy. But are we willing to do it? Now, I know this is crazy. So what is missing? So John David Mann goes on to say, they're just not in love. You can make them, you can't make them see it, want it, or do it. You cannot make someone fall in love. But when they do, watch out, because nothing will stop them. Guys, I found myself in this place in my business where I had a why that was bigger than myself. My willing to was greater than my wanting to. I had 19 cents in my bank account. I was ready to lose my first home. I was ready to lose my first job. And I had to make it work. Back in the day when my mom and I, our company was so new, we had no training, no trainers, no compensation plan. We didn't even know how we were going to get paid. I became a student of the profession. I bought the books. I bought the CDs. I showed up to my company convention. I was on every single call. And I was coachable and I was committed. I gave the daily activity, but the long-term time that it took, I love Biz Stone's quote. You've heard me say it before, co-founder of Twitter. Timing, perseverance, and 10 years of trying eventually makes you look like an overnight success. 10 years later, people are like, oh my gosh, 6 figures a month when you were 29. How'd you do it? I worked my butt off. Network marketing, not net lazy marketing. I was coachable. I was committed. I had grit. I had drive. But I will tell you what, I was in love. And now I'm in a place with my life where I can live more. Legacy, you know? I can give more. And I love my life even more. You know, now because of this business, I've got the time, I've got the resources to leave legacy to my son, my 1-year-old. My husband and I are both home with him, full-time hands-on mom and dad. But we're also building orphanages for children all around the world. And here locally, not only globally, but locally, we fund children's education and nutrition programs as well. That's what this life is all about. Believe it or not, guys, we're supposed to have heaven on earth. You are supposed to enjoy your life. And if you're not, the question I would ask you today, are you in love? Guys, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on today's talk. Happy month of love. Don't forget to get out some little love gifts to your loyal customers and your team members this week. Make sure you put out some really cool campaigns. Do some appreciation events to show your loyal customers, friends, and family some love. Or even next month during the month of luck to say you're lucky to have them in your life. Guys, I love the quote that Tori shared on last night's call. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure you tag your team and share this on your pages. Have a great day. God bless. Goodbye for now. I love you guys.